Over 50 years ago, I discovered a tool that allowed me to change my mindset. It allowed me to go on to great success, but it allowed me to understand my life much better. When I was in high school, I went to a high school that about 90% of the people did not go on to college. Small percentage did. Why did I go on to college? Well, I was very unusual, very different from everybody there. Both of my parents were college graduates. I lived at the edge of the boundary for this particular high school. If I'd lived 3 blocks further east, I would have gone to a different high school where most of the children go on to college. Why? We grow up being ready to conform, being encouraged to conform. The people that went to this high school that I went to, their parents didn't go to college. And for the most part, remember, I'm 89. This was a long time ago. Their parents didn't go to college. Their grandparents didn't go to college. They didn't go to college. My parents went to college. I saw myself as a college graduate. That explains what I discovered in this tool. I discovered a way to change my self-image or my mindset, to change the way I saw myself. I saw myself as a college graduate, and so I became a college graduate. In the process of going to college, I joined a fraternity. And in my fraternity, all my friends came from successful homes. I was working my way through college, but my father had been in a fraternity, so I figured a way to save up enough money so I could be in a fraternity. Best thing that ever happened to me, because I was around all these people whose parents were financially successful. My father was an alcoholic. I was destined to struggle financially because of the ideas that I would be inheriting from my father. There were many, and they were holding me back. But now I spent my days associating with people with different ideas. They changed the way I saw myself, the way I thought. Now I graduate from college, get an MBA, and start working. And I am struggling. And I then discover this tool and start succeeding. And when I start succeeding, I understand what's happened. My friends all left college and started succeeding immediately. I needed to find this tool to change my mindset before I could start succeeding. Because even though I'd been around them during my college years, I'd been around my father during my years before that, when I was really formative. Those are the ideas that control us unless we do something. There's some studies that say if you want it, that people that dramatically increase their income do it because they changed zip codes. They're now associating with different people. When we're in grade school, in junior high, in high school, not so much in college, but especially in those, but pretty much in college, we're taught to conform, to act like everybody else, to be part of everybody else, to conform and act the way they do. Why do you succeed? Because you act different. Don't compete, create. That's one of the wisest, if you'll remember that one thing from this. Don't compete with everybody else and try to be a little better than everybody else. Create and be something different from everybody. If you use this tool in my book, you'll be able to change your mindset, change the way you see yourself. And that will enable you to create, to become a different person. You will have set a goal that's far different than the way you are now. And your chance of reaching that goal is very slim if it's a big goal, because you have all these false ideas that you're trained to conform to. But if you change your mindset in relation to this goal, once your mindset changes, it seems to eliminate all the false ideas, all the things that are causing you to conform and not succeed. It eliminates them and replaces them with true ideas that tell you you're going to succeed. Then you you conform to the true ideas and succeed. If you didn't change your mindset, you'd be forced to conform to the false ideas and stay the way you are. It's not changing a zip code. It's not dressing different. It's not going to a different college. Those things may help because they put you in a different environment that may motivate you. and may cause you to be successful and change your mindset. That's the way I was before I discovered this tool. Being in the fraternity, being in the service, I changed my mindset each time I succeeded at something. And I changed it a little bit at a time. But when I discovered this tool, I made a major change to my mindset, a major change to the way I saw myself, and had a major change in results. So if you want a major change in results, use this tool, change your mindset. If you want a minor change, struggle, fight through your false ideas, fight through the way you've been raised, and achieve a little more success. It all has to do with your mindset. You are who you are because you've always been thinking that same way and been rewarded for conforming. I got thrown out of the class and sent to the principal's office because I misconformed, because I misbehaved, did not conform. Well, I guess that's why it made it easy for me to use this tool. I didn't mind being different. I didn't mind not fitting in. I didn't mind being my own person. That was a great blessing in my life. Sure, it caused me some grief along the way, but it was a blessing to be willing to not conform, to be willing to be different, to try a tool that was entirely new and different, to really discover something that was entirely new and have the courage. I didn't tell anybody about it. I just did it. And because it felt good, I kept doing it, and I kept doing it. And finally, miraculously, I didn't know what I was doing. I miraculously ended up with a different mindset and went on to success. Now I've spent the last 50 years succeeding, but then 6 years ago I started writing about this book so I could understand it better. And as I wrote about it, I understood it was far bigger and more important than I ever thought it was, because I could not only increase my income, I could become a better person, which I've done. I could lose weight without dieting, which I've done. I could move from needing to be special so I wouldn't be abandoned, because I felt abandoned as a baby because of the situation of my parents. I was fearful of being abandoned, so I became very special so I wouldn't be abandoned. Then, using this tool, I moved from being special to being human, like everybody else, with strengths and weaknesses. Much easier way to live, a much happier way to live. I can't hardly list the business successes I've had. Unusual. I helped a group of people leave the CIA. I sold the first oil field that's ever been purchased by an insurance company. I became one of the first financial planners in the United States. I created one of the very, very first real estate investment companies that used tax shelters. And because I was on the leading edge of those things, in the real estate especially, I got out, sold everything before they changed the tax law and did away with this advantage and put a whole bunch of companies into bankruptcy, all because I had this tool and knew that I would succeed. And when you use the tool, change your mindset, then you start getting help. Your mind starts helping you, and your greater power helps you. Much of the successes I've had, I've been inspired by my greater power, and that's where they've come from. You'll get great ideas, some from your greater power, some from others, but because your mind's open to succeeding, you'll recognize them and be able to act on them. These new ideas are floating around. When I sold the first oil field that's ever been purchased by an insurance company to Edna Life with a friend of mine, he recognized the tax law had changed and called me. I don't know why he called me, I guess because he knew I was so wonderful. And I called 25 insurance companies because they were used to loaning money to oil companies, and now that had been done away with. They were the top 25 insurance companies in our country, and I got appointments with 15 of them because my friend was the only one that had figured out that this opportunity existed, and I was the only one he could find that would jump on it and go after it. And incredibly, everybody was conforming and thinking the same. He thought differently, and I recognized he was right. You'll have the same kind of experiences once you learned to change your mindset. Good luck.